Good morning. We are live. It is Sunday. We've got a lot to talk about. Let's dive right into it. We've got a lot of serious things to talk about as far as the global economy is concerned today. But before we get that, I like to frame things. I like to give you a lens to look through. So let's take a look at some of the things that are going on. This is Andrew Tate, the right wing darling. Andrew Tate, the guy that has been accused of rape and trafficking. He was spirited into the United States, aided by the Trump regime. He's running around the United States just free as a bird for the longest. It took the UK to step up and finally do something about this before he was actually arrested to be extradited to the UK. This guy has been charged with rape and human trafficking for the longest. I mean, this is just ridiculous. Well, he has finally been arrested. This is the kind of people that are on the right. This is who we're dealing with. Come over here by me. Back up. Back up. Yes, back up. So yeah, that's basically it. I mean, it just goes on and on with him being arrested, and that's just perp porn right there. I'm not gonna continue on with the video. It's a waste of time, but you get the idea. These are the kind of people we're dealing with. We are headed towards a global crash, and it is my belief that we have no brakes. We have no brakes. All the indicators are flashing bright red, and we have no brakes. And these are the quality of people that are around this Trump regime, with a president that has dementia, that is not running things, that couldn't run things to begin with because he was a goddamn moron to begin with, a failure to begin with, a greedy, corrupt, sick individual, one of the least, Jesus, of all the people to occupy the Oval Office, with all the flawed presidents we have, he is the absolute worst. And he's got dementia. I mean, we are headed for some serious trouble, folks. And these are the people that are responsible for it. These are the people that are causing it. In case you missed it, this kind of, with all of the big news that is happening, this kind of flew under the radar. Tulsi Gabbard's brother has been charged in Waikiki with, they call it a stranger danger incident. He was trying to seduce children into a hotel room using candy and money. But again, I know this community. I know you're saying, well, that's Tulsi Gabbard's brother. She's been fired. That's the brother. You can't hang everything on her because of what the brother does, but it's more than that, folks. It's more than that. It's already happening. It's already happening. They're already closing ranks around this guy. His father, who is by the way, state senator in Hawaii, Mike Gabbard, has already released a statement saying, well, he was having a mental health episode. I mean, literally says it right here, mental health episode, and it's been drugs. This is not normal. We're going to put him in a psychiatric hospital. No, I got a better idea. Put him in a fucking prison. Put him in a fucking prison. But no, these corrupt, sick individuals that are driving us off a cliff, driving our financial bus off a cliff. These are the quality of people. These are the types of people. And by the way, Mike Gabbard is, yeah. He is just not, I don't understand how, given that all politics is local, how people like this get elected. I just do not. He is one of the founding members of oh my God. 1 second. Let me pull it up for you. He's one of the founding members of the Science of Identity cult out there in Hawaii. It's all over the Pacific, actually. This is Tulsi Gabbard's guru, Chris Butler. Actually, he's changed his name to Shawarma something or other that's about this long, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. But yeah, he and Tulsi Gabbard's dad and several other people got together and formed this Science of Identity Foundation. It's an offshoot of the Hare Krishna movement. Yeah. I mean, these are the people at the upper echelons of our government. She was just the director of national intelligence. Just the director of national intelligence. This is it. I mean, this is why I'm giving you this lens to look through. And I got to tell you, folks, it doesn't get much better. It doesn't. When you start, looking at what we're doing, what our policies are doing. This is Wu Xiaoping. Just to give you an idea of the craziness that is going on in our country, how upside down our country is. This is Wu Xiaoping. Wu Xiaoping was a lawyer in China. He represented people that most people would not represent. He was a human rights lawyer. He fought the Chinese government. He represented people like John Kuhn, who's an anti-corruption activist that was arrested by the Chinese government because he was calling out governmental corruption. The lawyers for people like this tend to not last very long in China. He represented Zhu Chongjin, a human rights activist that was gathered much note in China. I recognize you don't recognize these people because you'd have to be, following Chinese news to know who this is. But this is Zhu Chongjin. He is a human rights activist who was also represented by Wu Xiaoping. Well, in 2019, the hammer fell, and all of the lawyers that were doing this, the government cracked down on. I mean, they brought the hammer down on these people. They were arresting them, and Wu Xiaoping ran, packed his shit, and fled here to the United States. where he quietly worked for Amazon, processing packages for Amazon, while he legally handled his immigration. You remember Cletus. You remember the right wingers. We don't have a problem with immigrants. We just want them to do it legally. You remember Cletus, right? I mean, this is a lawyer, an educated man, obviously of good moral fiber based on what he did for a living, right? I mean, this is who you would want to immigrate, right? Well, the long arm of the law caught up with him. And I don't mean China's, I mean ours. Ours. ICE arrested Wu Xiaoping. It's one of those situations where they just saw a foreigner in a van. They just saw a foreigner in a van. They didn't have a warrant for his arrest. He didn't do anything wrong. He's a lawyer. He's a lawyer. He is legally following the immigration process. He's done nothing wrong. He is a lawyer. He's smart. He's smart. He carries his paperwork with him. He showed it to ICE. I am here legally. They arrested him anyways, threw him in an ICE detention facility after several days of not being able to talk to anybody because, fuck habeas corpus and the Constitution, right? This is ICE. These are Republicans. We don't follow the fucking law. He showed the people in the ICE detention facility. I'm legal. I'm doing it legally. I've got a job. I am not a criminal. I contribute. I pay taxes. I'm doing everything you've asked of me. Here's my paperwork. And the Trump administration said, fuck you, yellow man. We don't want your kind here. They're going to deport him anyways. They are going to deport him anyways. He's going back to China to die. When he hits the ground in China, they are going to lock him into a prison and he's going to disappear into a black hole for doing nothing but standing up for decency, standing up for people in a system that deserve representation. He is not a criminal in any way, shape, or form. He educated himself. He is exactly who you would want. But to the bigots that make up the core of MAGA, he's a yellow man. We don't want them yellow people here. We only want them white immigrants. Do we got any more of them South Africans? Got any more of them South Africans we could send here? No, you don't. And that's part of what we're going to talk about today. How every one of Trump's policies are exactly the wrong thing to do. But before we do, we've got to talk about how badly the fourth estate, the media, is failing us. It's their fault too. It is their fault too. We are driving off a financial cliff. And this is the kind of thing we're getting out of the media. I want you to read this headline, and I'm going to pause for a second. I want you to soak it in, and I want you to tell me what this headline is telling you. Body found at squad rep Ayanna Presley's at home of Ayanna Presley's husband. That's a weird way to word that, but what does it say? Well, you've got to read like 4 paragraphs into the article before you realize that the headline has nothing to do with the frickin' article. Ayanna Presley's husband is a successful, and Ayanna Presley's from Massachusetts, by the way. Her husband is a successful real estate developer. His company that he is a partner in builds big projects. This is what they do. Fox News has been trying to vilify her husband forever. I mean, every single project the man works on is supposedly corrupt, or, they just constantly trying to create because if you lie over and over and over and over again, Cletus will believe that lie. So we get headlines like that. You have to read 4 paragraphs down into the article before you hear what has actually happened. Someone died in a home that her husband owns as an investment property, a rental that they don't live in, that they have no association with other than it's a rental property. That's what the media is doing. Body found in home of Ayanna Presley's husband. No, the man is a multimillionaire. He owns millions of dollars in investment property. He builds his, construction company, his development company builds massive projects. And, he takes the earnings that he gets and he buys rental property. And somebody died in one of his rental properties. That's it. That's what happened. But look at that headline. That's our fucking media today while all of this is going on. This is the property, by the way. This is the property. It's a rental property. Looks like he takes good care of it, doesn't it? I mean, it looks like he's a pretty damn decent landlord. I mean, look at the nice clean fence. Look at the, the paint's upkept. It looks like a decent property. It looks like a nice upscale place that somebody would really want to. It's in Boston, by the way. It's in Boston. Yeah, that's what the fourth estate is up to. While we have a major crisis building. And Republicans, don't even get me started on Republicans. I mean, we're not even going to. I'm not even going to talk about Republicans in Congress today. I'm not, because there's no point. They're useless. They do nothing. They have abdicated their responsibilities, and they have allowed this disaster to happen. So yeah, I'm not even going to talk about Congress today. But we are going to talk about what's going on. Before we do, let me read some of these comments and get caught up. Things I have warned you and warned you and warned you. We are running out of time. We are on the clock. And I kept telling you we are, a couple months away. Then I told you, hey, we're, a month and a half away. Then I told you we're a month away. Then I told you we're a few weeks away. We are running out of time. There's a global crash happening, and we are here. Elizabeth Thritter, welcome. Glad to see the new member. Glad to see it. George, thank you for always supporting the show. I'm super grateful. Rich, thank you for always being so generous and, one of the foundational members of the Ride or Die movement, always trying to give people, free memberships are there. I mean, they're there for you. Skeet Sayre, Tate Brothers' arrest was so satisfying. Let them run. It was satisfying, but it again just clarifies who these people are. Melissa Grubb and Barron is a fan of the Tates. What does that tell us? Yeah. All of the Junior, all of them are tight with the Tates. E.T. Tate brothers arrested in Miami on UK warrant. Yep. It took our friends in the UK to do this. New West Bill, thank you. Wow, 50 memberships. Bill, super generous. Folks. This is the kind of community we have. They want you to have access to all the full functionality that a membership has, and they're gifting them to you for free. All you have to do is make sure that your settings in YouTube are such that you can receive gifts, not give gifts, receive gifts for free, and you'll get one. I appreciate it. While you're doing that, make sure you hit the thumbs up button and the subscribe button. We've got to do everything we can to prepare for these midterm elections. Let's get this thing moving and growing. Let's keep going. Skeet Sayre, there are no breaks if you study it. The Republicans are working for the Russians and Israel. Donna DeJoy, spicy day. Let's prime the cussing jar. Love you, Texas Paul, Mississippi. Thank you, Donna. Thank you for always being here. Thank you for supporting the show. I am truly grateful. Lolly Winston, thank you for supporting the show. I am truly grateful. Thank you. E.T. Andrew looks like a male escort instead of a man of manly. Oh my God, he's been so trolled. Oh my God, they found that outfit. And it is, oh my God, it is the models that are wearing it, and they are having a blast with it. Melissa Grubb, Texas Paul, Mississippi. I hope your family had a wonderful day celebrating your daughter's wedding. Blessings to the Happy New Year. Thank you. I appreciate that. I took Friday off. My daughter got married on Friday. It was a good day. It was a wonderful day. Carol Lowe, anniversary day, 51 years. Need good news, Paul. Well, we'll try to end it with some good news for you. We will. Thank you for being here. Julie Snow, 6-month membership. Salute. Sick part is Trump will pardon Andrew Tate again. Yeah. Can't in the UK. Netex, welcome. Glad to see you get membership. Lolly Winston, thank you again for supporting the show. Thank you again. You're very generous. Motown Mimi, hope your coffee is as good as mine. Whole bean butter pecan torte. Best coffee I ever heard of. Thanks, y'all. I appreciate you. I really do. John Gomez, is it true that the Republicans are trying to cancel the filibuster to get the SAVE Act passed? They are. There's fractures. We need to talk about that on another show. We're going to talk about it on another show. There are fractures that's complicated. There are fractures within the Republican Party about the SAVE Act. There are. Some people are seeing the writing on the wall. Some people are seeing the disaster happening, and they're trying to go into conservation mode where they don't do shit that's pissing people off. And then you've got the radicals over here that are willing to do anything and everything. Good question. And we will address the whole thing. We will. Kyra, good morning, Mr. and Mrs. Texas Paul. Sunday shows are my favorite because Michael can join us. He sends his best to both of you. Good to see you, Michael. Good to see you. Glad you're here. And Kyra and Michael, thank you for always supporting the show. Thank you for your generosity. Kimberly George, thank you for supporting the show. Thank you. Skeet Sayre, Trump is Mussolini with Reds. The Reds are the Nazis. Motown Mimi, hope your coffee is as good as mine. Yeah. Thank you. Saw that. Chandra Patton, geez. Yeah, Chandra, I'm glad you're here. Thank you for always being so generous, Chandra. I'm glad you're here. Michael Daly, the Dim. Morning, brother. Wonder how many bodies have been found in Trump's property. No shit. I know there's one buried there on the golf course. Crafty ass Gardner, another distraction, same solution. Vote Democratic up and down the ballot. We're about to sweep these midterms. If we do the work, we are. Amen. If we do the work, we're about to. Ali, you rock, Texas Paul. Thanks. I appreciate you. A couple more. We're going to get back to work. Skeet Sayre. Media numbers are tanking. Meanwhile, 300 plus of us chatting for over 2 hours during your daughter's wedding, knowing you were busy. We even debated where Antifa is and what should be in the warehouse. Y'all are the best. Y'all really. This is a great community. William G. Atheist, a global crash. Really? Yeah. Wait for it. I brought receipts. I bring receipts. Giddy Roadrunner, do you think Elaine Chao will need to fly back to China to pick up Robo Mitch 3000 model, or will Amazon deliver it to the hospital, ride or die? We got another still picture of Mitch, which tells me 100% that guy is fucking toast. He is toast. He is toast. If he could speak, they would have video. They wouldn't want any question. But no, they just keep showing still picture. Same shirt, by the way, same clothes. Giddy Roadrunner, do you think Elaine? Yeah. George Lyndon Weber, ride or die pin. Good. Glad to see it, man. Y'all need to be sporting these when y'all go to your local Democratic Party meetings, when you go to protests, just when you go to the grocery store. Y'all need to be sporting these so people ask. Alien Edge? Allie and EJ. There you go. That's what I'm thinking it is. Allie and EJ. Hate to, I hate that. I hate to mispronounce people's names. I think it's disrespect. I do. Thank you for the support, Allie. I appreciate you. Skeet Sayre, Republicans know that filibuster is to their advantage, so they keep the cruelty going. Yeah. Hurricane Heidi, good to see you. Thanks for all you do. I'm so happy to be able to catch a live show today. You are so loved and appreciated. Thank you. I appreciate you. I really do appreciate you. I do. Let's get it. Let's get it. Mitch is finally glitched. Y'all kill me, man. Y'all kill me. Let's get to work. Let's do it. So, y'all know before this whole Iran war thing broke out, this is going to be on multiple fronts, but we've got to do an update on the Iran war as part of it. We do. We're not going to do a whole show on Iran. Trust me. But y'all know before the Iran war broke out, we had dumped billions upon billions upon billions of dollars into the region, into bases, and pretty much will have had this untouchable air to them, that we could just put a base anywhere, and the Jolly Green Giants could just walk around and remain untouched. We just dumped billions into the region, and we did. We 1 second. One second. Changed up coffee midstream. That is nice. That is nice. These are some of the updates we did to the Moafak Air Base. 1 second. In Jordan. This is Moafak Air Base in Jordan. I want to make sure I had them all divided out so we could talk about each one. We dumped billions into these. And Moafak was one of the central hubs that we could just strike from and reach just about anybody in the region. We had some very high-end aircraft there. We built a lot of facilities there. I mean, you could just see the construction continuously has just been going on. We've been dumping and pumping billions. This is the Moafak Air Base night before last. One more time. We do not have images of the damage that have come out of these strikes. We do know that they've acknowledged 2 deaths. We don't know how many casualties total. But yeah, it is hell on earth right now. It is this war has escalated and escalated and escalated, and we've reached a new point. I want you to understand this is not a one-sided ass-kicking contest. It just isn't. From a reporter staying at Muwafaq Air Base. This is what our troops are enduring right now. One more time. It's a very short video. It's only 20 seconds. Let's do it again. It's happening all throughout the region. It's not just in Jordan. It's in Kuwait. It's in Saudi Arabia. It's in Bahrain. By all accounts, our naval base in Bahrain is all but destroyed completely. This is not a one-sided ass-kicking contest like is being represented. It is simply not. This is Al Udeid in Qatar. This is a little bit longer. Be patient. This is the interceptors going up trying to intercept the missiles. You can see they are not successful.
Motherfucker! Come on. Oh, fuck! Damn!
Not going to show that one again. So yeah, you can safely say there's not peace in the Middle East. And we've talked about this. That this is something that can't continue. It cannot go on. It is crippling our global economy. It is. It is, and I've said this over and over and over again. No, we're not out of oil. We have been supplying oil, but in order to meet economic demands to prevent the global economy from screeching to a halt, everybody has been burning through their reserves. They've been trying to mask this. There's been manipulation of oil prices. I highly recommend that you follow Matt Randolph. His pages are under the Mr. Global moniker. He does a fantastic job of keeping everybody abreast of what's going on in the oil industry. Highly recommend you follow him. It is really a problem folks, and we've crossed a threshold. Why are these attacks looking so bad? Why are things he's a good resource. He really is a good resource. He really is a good resource. I listen to what he says, and I will usually run to verify what he's saying, and he's usually spot on 100. He's normally just spot on, and I can, and he often will send me, he'll say something, and it would, much like today's show, it will send me down a rabbit hole looking at different information to expand on what he's saying and what he's thinking. A great resource. He is a great resource. He is a great resource. His name's Matt Randolph, by the way. But we've crossed a threshold in the Iran war. We have. And we did it. We did it. You saw when we blew up the school. Now we've had a children's cancer hospital damaged. They didn't hit it directly, but they hit a target literally right across the street from it, which caused damage to a children's cancer hospital. All of these escalations. Now, the children's cancer hospital thing was not a war crime. The school, that was an accident, not intentional, not an intentional war. We have crossed that threshold. We have engaged in an intentional, planned, executed war crime. We just have. That's where we're at now. That is where we're at now. And again, the fourth estate is completely failing us. The media is completely failing us. Iran and Kuwait report attacks on water and power infrastructure as strikes escalate. Kuwait reported severe damage and advised civilians to ration power after Iranian attacks, while Iran said the U.S. struck a desalination plant that supplies water to thousands. It's hundreds of thousands. Hundreds of thousands. We did it first. We did it first. We hit a water desalination plant in southern Iran, and we hit the power supply, the power station that supplies power to their water infrastructure in southern Iran. We left hundreds of thousands of people without water. Folks, in the Middle East, they don't have water wells. They get their water from the ocean. They do. Every nation there, it's about 80% of the drinking water in that entire region comes directly out of the ocean. And water desalination plants are impossible to defend. They are on the coast by design. You can last 3 days without water. 3 days. This is an entirely new escalation, folks. This is something that, Iran has had the ability to strike oil infrastructure. It has, for the most part, not. Because there's a détente. I don't hit yours, you don't hit mine. Nobody has been intentionally striking water infrastructure until Kegbreath decided it was a good idea. There was no doubt about what they were doing. They directly hit a water desalination plant in southern Iran. They did it as a threat because there are much larger ones feeding larger. This was a relatively rural, for the lack of a better way to put it, region in southern Iran. This was a warning shot. This was an escalation by Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump. It is a line that they crossed that, again, they did not understand what the response would be. The Iranians responded brutally. They absolutely destroyed a very large water desalination plant in Kuwait and the power plant supplying its power. We're talking about right now, as we sit right now, hundreds of thousands of people on the Persian Gulf without water. Their nations are scrambling to get them. You can live for 3 days without water. I need you to understand, if this tit for tat continues, you're talking about a human crisis on a titanic scale. And we started it. We did it first as a threat. You're talking about millions of people losing their access to water. How the fuck do you deal with that? Who has the infrastructure? We don't have the means to provide water to millions of people across a region that size. And these fucking morons open that gate. They open that gate. I do understand. I read your comments, folks. I do. I do understand this comment. I would like to add that they picked a side in this conflict. Let me tell you something. As somebody that has thrown hands before, that has been in violent situations, you don't have to be the one that starts it. If your group gets into an ass kicking contest, you are in an ass kicking contest. That's the way it works. That's the way it works. But wait, there's more. God, I miss Billy Mays. I miss Billy Mays. Y'all remember Billy Mays? I don't know why I just thought about him. Y'all remember Billy Mays? Some of you young folks that are watching this don't understand who I'm talking about. Billy Mays used to sell stuff on TV. OxyClean. And his big catchphrase was, "But wait, there's more." I miss Billy Mays. I do. But we have reports that this happened. I mean, we do. We have the global media has reported that this has happened. We hit a desalination plant in Iran. Iran released the images of it. We know they hit one in Kuwait. What do you think, Whiskey Pete? What do you think his response to that has been? Come on, he's part of the Trump regime. And this is a roundtable. I'm talking to you folks that are here. I'm talking to you. What do you think Whiskey Pete's response was to it? He is a member of the Trump regime. He lied. They lied. They just, nuh-uh. Because everybody and their brother understands what this escalation means. Everybody and their brother. You do not have to be a war correspondent. You don't have to be up on politics. You don't have to. Everybody understands attacking civilian water infrastructure is a war crime. It is one of the worst war crimes because it is the mass murder of everybody that relies on that water. That's not even Cletus understands that's a war crime. And everybody understands the repercussions of what this tit for tat means to the nations, what it means to Bahrain, Qatar, the United Arab Emirates, not just Iran and the people of Iran. I mean, we know what it means. But beyond that, but wait, there's more. This happened. Now, folks, when we talk about oil prices, those prices are referred to as the Cushing price. We've got some folks here from Oklahoma. They'll be able to tell you the significance of Cushing, Oklahoma. For the longest time, all of our pipelines spiderwebbed into a hub that flowed out of Cushing, Oklahoma. All of the oil wells from here in East Texas and West Texas and everywhere that we produced oil, all of those pipelines flowed to Cushing. And then everywhere that refined it, it flowed out of Cushing. It was the linchpin to our oil supplies. It was for the longest time. It still is where oil prices are set. When we look at the New York Mercantile Exchange, the NYMEX, and look at oil prices, which we will do here in just a second, that price is the Cushing price. It is not quite as significant as it once was because, hey, they built more pipelines. There are pipelines that run directly out of West Texas, our largest oil field in the country, directly to the refiners. And this is, got to thank Matt Randolph for this. I did not know this had happened. As much as I follow the oil industry, I did not know this happened. You've got to thank Mr. Global. He brought my attention to this. But it is bigger than what the video I saw from him talked about. There's actually more to it. But this happened. The tanks in Cushing, Oklahoma are hitting bottom. The oil market is about to hit a tipping point. It's exactly what I explained to you folks. We have been running, we don't have, because of this idiotic war in the Middle East, in this idiotic war in Ukraine, world oil supplies have been disrupted. They have been burning through what were historically high reserves to cover for it so that you didn't feel it. They thought they could do that. They thought they could start a war with Iran. They could punch him in the face and nothing significant would happen. It wouldn't be long-term enough. And even if it went on for a few weeks, oh, well, we've got the reserves. You won't feel it. That's what Putin was counting on when he invaded Ukraine, that his people would not feel it. Oh, they're feeling it. Every oblast, every state in Russia is out of fuel because Ukraine has devastated their oil industry. Russia attacked civilians. Ukraine attacked their oil infrastructure. Moscow is burning right now. They can no longer defend themselves from Ukraine because Putin is an idiot. That disruption combined with what the idiot Benjamin Netanyahu did, because Benjamin Netanyahu knew he was coming up for re-election. He knew he's in trouble legally. He is facing corruption charges that he is flat out guilty of. His wife runs around with, $30,000 purses. And, I mean, it's one thing after another, after another, after another. So he started a war. Because no war, no Netanyahu. You don't need Netanyahu in Israel if you're not in war. And he talked the absolute stupidest president in the world into starting a war with Iran. Because, you got keg breath running the DOD. Our generals told him, don't do this. There's a reason we haven't done this. Don't do this. If they decide to have an ass-kicking contest with us, this will be a disaster. And that's exactly what happened. And Iran knows it. They know it. They know all they have to do is hang in there. And that's exactly what they're doing, folks. But wait, there's more. See, when I was watching Mr. Global talk about this, he was talking about Cushing, and he was talking about how, absolutely true. Cushing does not have this in the 1950s, 60s, 70s, 80s, even the 90s, 2000s. Cushing was critical. It was absolutely critical. It was the hub of our oil. Not so much anymore, like I said, So I started looking at where those other pipelines flow to. It is still critical. Don't get me wrong. It is not critical. It's just not. It was everything at one point. It is not everything now. There are direct pipes. So I started looking, and one of the places that the pipelines flow to out of West Texas is Freeport, Texas. I went and took a look at their oil reserves, and the news is not good. This is why I said, this is it. We're here. I kept telling you, we're running out of time. We're running out of time. We're running out of time. The last few grains are falling out of the hourglass right now as we speak. This isn't talking about Cushing, which is at bottoms. This is talking about Freeport. Folks, Texas is your gasoline. Texas refines the lion's share of your gasoline, and our refineries just creeped below 40% capacity in their oil storage. It's happening. It's happening. We are running out. We are running out. And the war is escalating. Iran just went balls out against us. Those attacks, you're going to see over the next few days, those attacks did devastating damage. I'm talking about billions. Folks, they damaged F-35s that were on the runway. The media is trying to figure out what the fuck to do with this information. Because we're like Israel now. Israel controls all information about the war. Most people that are in Israel have no clue things are going so badly. They have no clue. None whatsoever. They have no clue things are going so badly because the media is tightly controlled. That's a lot of what's happening here. Nowhere are they telling you in our media that we had F-35s damaged. You know how expensive those planes are? Do you know how expensive those planes are? We had some of our new refuelers damaged, which means we're going to have to hustle and bring some of the old refuelers into the region just to conduct air operations. This is real, folks. This is really happening. And it is doing nothing but escalating. And I wish that was all the bad news I had for you, but it is not. There is more. Stick with me. Stick with me. Michael Antonsu, thank you for gifting the memberships. I'm truly grateful. Jeremy, incredibly generous of you, sir. Thank you. Glad to hear the wedding went great on Friday. Please give half of this support to the new couple as a wedding gift. I will. I will pass it on. Thank you. That was incredibly generous of you, Jeremy. Thank you. Thank you so much. Alice, that's very touching. That really is. Alistriana. McConnell's staff saw the movie Dave and thought it might work. Yeah. Yeah. Skeet there. Well, when Mitch went into the ambulance, the lights and sirens did not engage. Any paramedics in the chat explain what that means? Yep. ET, I had my pin on at the OC DIMS board meeting in Orlando. Fantastic. Fantastic. That's what we're talking about. We have ugly. I know. I injured my hand. Yeah, sorry. Didn't mean to be gross. I'll do that. Fantastic. That is what we want. That is what we want. We want people talking. We want people to ask you what this is about so that you can talk to them about what it means to be a ride or die Democrat. We need people wearing. By the way, wore my jersey to my guitar lessons yesterday. I did. And yes, I went to my guitar lessons with an injured hand. Yeah. I'm going to learn to play that damn guitar. Hell or high water. I don't care how much it hurts. Skeet Sayre, people have no idea how much gravity is in the Iran conflict. The U.S. Forgot that Iran was already in a war economy. Pray that this does not fall across Shia and Sunni line. I am praying that everybody steps back from attacking the water infrastructure. That's what I'm praying right now. I cannot explain to you. There is no infrastructure in place to make up for the loss of those desalination plants. If this continues, millions will die. And there'll be Sorry, I had an internet glitch there. Warehouses of materials needed to support our military in that region for months destroyed, especially large bunkerage of fuels for air, land, and sea. Yeah, this was a serious punch. Yeah, Syria was also hit. Yeah, they did. They Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Kuwait, Iraq. They hit it. They hit us throughout the region. They did. And the media is complicit because they have no idea how to tell the American people that we just got kicked in the balls. Skeet there. Maybe U.S. should ask Ukraine for help, but they might be told you have no cards. Imbeciles, the only thing that describes this administration. Yeah, their arrogance, the way they have treated allies, the way they have treated people, this is all coming home to roost. Yes, this is the kind of thing I'm talking about. We're not talking about one thing. We're not talking about one incident that's happened. We're talking about several things. Stick with me. We're about to talk about housing. We're about to talk about the stock market. We're talking about bonds. This is the red flags are everywhere. Holly Stickney, thank you. Thank you for being a member. Thank you for being part of the community. Sammy Joe, Blue Heart, so sobering and sickening. The fourth estate is failing us. People who don't pay us much attention don't see enough of what is going on. Mainstream media at fault. Yep. And Republicans in Congress are at fault 100%. Skeet Sayre, I am so sorry for breaking the stream, but I have to talk about Russ Vought. He could not spell compassion, but his racism is so strong he can't hide it on TV. Keep the Senate and House open. Yeah, I really, really, really thought about adding that, but we're gonna have to do We're gonna have to do that either on Wednesday's show or just have to do some shorts about it. Russ Vought's testimony was so telling. It was so telling. Just zero compassion, zero understanding, pure arrogance, just pure delusional arrogance. Melissa Grubb, and now the U.S. citizens abroad are in more danger. Yes, we haven't even started talking about terrorism yet. E.T., how soon before markets open will the Mad King taco to manipulate the market? If you haven't gotten involved yet, why the heck not? Do the work. That is a great segue to something that I had for later on in the show as part of the closing. But since you brought it up, again, the sheer utter corruption, the out in the open, in your face corruption, and the media is doing nothing about it. The Republicans in Congress that control all three, the Republicans that control all three branches of government are doing nothing about it. Nothing. Only the Democrats are doing anything with what little power they have. We must give them power. This is real, folks. This isn't pretend. You've seen the way they've been manipulating markets with Trump's posts on Truth Social. He is the social media president. Instead of there being things being handled the way they are traditionally handled, where the White House will put out a statement and the entire world gets it at one time, he posts everything on Truth Social. People have begun to look at our government as though it operates on Truth Social, because it does. And Trump wants to make bank on it. You want early access to that insider information so that you can go out and make those oil trades like we do? We being the Trump family. Iran has out and out accused them of market manipulation, of insider trading, of making billions off illicit oil trades based on his announcements that are bullshit about this war. Now they want to charge a subscription service to get access to that insider information first. I wish that was a joke. I wish that was hyperbole. I wish that was... No, they're out in the open doing it. Just right out in the open. New West Bill, if you're in 100 plus temp, it can reduce your time to hours. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Talking about how long you can last without water. Ralphus Simpsonicus. The mainstream media should be ashamed for refusing to stand up to Trump and his administration's war crimes. History will not be kind. They are complicit. They are 100% complicit. Skeet Sayre, desalination is important. Even little Barbados has them. This is the only one word: evil. Yeah. Yeah. That escalation is, it is such a blatant... It's like those double taps they did on those boats in the Caribbean. It's such a blatant, out in the open war crime. Skeet Sayre, Keg's Breath is one of the only people I would enjoy seeing drawn and quartered. I hear you. Cecile Kazemi, the entire regime lies when the truth would suit better. Yep. CYA in action, whether people will believe them or not. Despicable, cowardly liars, all of them. Yes. And that's our government. Richard, 6502. Meanwhile, we have that Joseph Goebbels wannabe, Stephen Miller, threatening to lock up all opposition to Trump and MAGA. Bring it on, lizard boy. Yep. I actually did not include a couple videos from Stephen Miller today. I didn't think it was necessary, but yeah, if you wanted, we'll talk about them later if you want. He's out there running his mouth. These are the people that make up this regime. Glenn Kaneko, thank you for being so generous. Thank you for gifting the membership, sir. Thank you for always being here. ET, and China has been husbanding their own reserves, and they might start selling to make more friends, but likely they will just hold their cards and smile. Actually, we're going to talk about China here in a minute. They're making moves right now. Skeet Sear, Russia is on its last legs, but those long lines you see in Russia are coming to the USA. Independent, thank you, Texas Paul, for always speaking the truth. What's going to happen here is astronomically high prices. We'll have oil. We will have gasoline here. We will. We produce enough domestically that we will have. We were not going to see the oil lines that we saw in the 70s when OPEC shut the tap off. We're not going to see that. We won't have rationing here. What you're going to see is astronomically high prices in our economy shuttering because of it. ET, can you tell us how many tankers will fill those? Not off the top of my head, but it's a lot. It's a lot. Pancake McButters. The thing keeping me miffed is that I told people about this as much as I could, and nobody believed me over here. It's going to be damn hard to feel sympathy for any one of them when they learn the hard way. It's coming, no matter how anybody feels about it. There's no stopping it now. There is no stopping it now. Nothing could be done. If we started doing everything right today, you could not stop this. You need to be prepared for higher prices. You need to be prepared for what's coming. Michael Antonsu, I am glad for independent news. Me too. Me too. Skeets here. This is sad. The U.S. media had access to all wars, and it kept the hawks in check, but U.S. military is not infinite. Couple more. We're going to get back to work. Agent Cajun John, thank you for being here. Thank you for always supporting the show, John. I'm truly glad to have you here, my friend. Weird Idaho Liberal. We're going to talk about Canada here in a second. Weird Idaho Liberal. Shout out to Canada. We know you didn't blow smoke. I stand with you. Yeah, brother. I hear you. I hear you. We're going to talk about that here in a minute. Sherry Ellison. Some of the media, Fox, Newsmax, don't have the brain cells to tell the truth. Immoral, horrible people. They just don't care. Paula Dixon, welcome. Glad to see you. Glad to see you. Couple more and we're right back to work. Rock and run. Thank you for the support, sir. Thank you for always supporting the show. Tube Kurt, monetizing government posts on Truth Social is so much worse than using a private email server. It staggers the imagination. Yep. And that just slipped through. If that had been a Democrat, could you imagine if Joe Biden had tried to sell a subscription service to get insider information and did it out in the open? Could you just imagine how many weeks that would run front page? We would be having discussions about, is this the end? Will he be impeached? Must he resign? And that story just slipped right through. Chandra Patton, piling up on war crimes. Yep, we sure are. We sure are. Look, it's not just oil. This just happened. The numbers came out for the first half of 2026. This is something that I've told you about and told you about. We've talked about this recurrently. Every time these numbers come out, folks, they were 30% higher last year. They're 20% higher over that. What's absolutely terrifying is why. The economy has slowed and inflation has grown to the point that people can't catch up. If something happens and you can't make your mortgage payment, those houses are rocketing to foreclosure. They actually track. Did they miss one payment, two payments? Are they 90 days behind? They track it all. And what they're seeing is it's growing astronomically. If someone misses one payment, a huge number of them are making it all the way to foreclosure because people cannot catch up. Wait for it. It's way more complicated than that. It is way more complicated than just a housing crash. Trump's policies are absolutely the worst possible policies to have in place during this. Now, you would think a bunch of foreclosures would ease home prices. That would mean that we've got a lot of homes on the market, right? No, we don't. Home supplies are still incredibly tight. No one is building homes. Housing prices are still astronomically high because of what I'm about to talk to you about, and this simple fact. Nobody's selling their home. Everybody feels this economy. There's this thing where, we call them the boomers, but it's not just the boomer generation. It's every generation. We age. We reach a point that we get to a certain age. We sell our family home and then move to a smaller home, move to Florida or move to, and buy something smaller, easier to maintain. That's over. That is not happening. Old folks are not selling their paid off homes. The market is so screwed up. Prices are so astronomically high that things have started to happen. Dominoes have started to fall that are contributing. It's become a self-fulfilling prophecy. Old folks aren't selling their homes and making them available on the market because they can't afford the new homes that they would have to move to because of other contributing factors. We're going to talk about those other contributing factors that are causing home prices to be so high. So you have people that the economy, this is evidence, this is the receipts that the economy is so bad that if they get behind on one payment, they're losing their house. They're not able to catch up. They're making it all the way through foreclosure. But those houses, even though foreclosure rates are skyrocketing, it's not easing the housing market because old folks aren't selling their homes anymore. And people, even younger people, are not selling their homes. They're holding on to them as tightly as possible. And this is one of the major reasons why. Again, talking about Trump policies being a massive problem. And this is where we first start talking about our Canadian friends. Commodity price volatility hits home builders as tariffs reshape costs. Mill closures and labor gaps threaten to offset any gains from falling commodity prices. The lumber industry, even though this is insane, but it is really happening. The lumber industry, even though prices are astronomically high for lumber, the mills are closing because of their input costs, their labor costs, because of Trump's idiotic immigration policy. They can't get labor. Working in lumber mills is dangerous and difficult, backbreaking work, and it is dangerous. Americans are old. We are an aging population. Everybody wants to go on to work in the healthcare field. They want to go on to, be influencers. They want to do anything but go sweat their ass off in East Texas heat when it's 100-degree heat and 60% humidity with a 115-degree, nobody wants to do it. Nobody wants to do it. They can't get labor. Their labor costs are astronomical. Mills are going under because diesel prices, electricity prices, the costs of blades, because steel prices are astronomical. Everything is driving these mills under when they should be flourishing. They should be making bank, but every Trump policy in every single department is killing them. So lumber prices are astronomically high. So home builders who also cannot get labor, their labor prices have gone astronomically high. Their subcontractors' costs have gone astronomically high because their subcontractors, they all got to drive pickup trucks. They've all got to drive vans. They've all got to drive. Nobody shows up at a construction site in a Prius. And their fuel prices are astronomically high. Energy prices are astronomically high. And we are arresting legal immigrants that are doing everything that they're supposed to be doing. Legal immigrants, people that are in the system, they're arresting them at courthouses. They don't have we just saw a man murdered on the street, a construction worker. Salgado Araujo was murdered on the street because ICE agents couldn't find the person that they were looking for in their made-up self-printed warrant, not a judicial warrant. Couldn't find the person they were looking for, so they saw a brown person in a van and thought, all right, we're going to make our quota. So they went after somebody who was doing it legally, who was labor in the construction industry. They're killing every policy. Racism is not free. Stupidity is not free. It's one of the most expensive commodities in the world. Stupidity is one of the most expensive commodities in the world, and it is coming home to roost. Our housing industry, we cannot get houses onto the market. Now, the bill that Raphael Warnock finally got passed and signed into law, that was passed on a bipartisan basis, and I'll give him that much. It was that bill was bipartisan, stopped Johnny Got Rocks in Wall Street from snapping up those homes that are coming out of foreclosure, which is what they were doing. It's going to help some. But when people are not building homes, there will never be enough supply. And this headline says it all. A big look at the state of housing in America. Boomers won't sell, millennials can't buy, and Gen Z gets to watch the whole thing sort itself out. But wait, there's more. There's more. There are more red flags. Okay, so we've talked about energy, both gasoline and home energy prices, and commercial energy prices, astronomically high, choking the economy. Labor prices soaring because of immigration policy. The war in Ukraine, the war in Iran. We've talked about those sectors and how they're going. Wait for it. There's more. There's more. We're still going, folks. Stick with me. I'm going to catch up on the comments and we're going to get back to it. Pablo Garcia, GOP midterm message. Liberals started the war. Don't blame us. Oh, yeah, you know it's coming. Axel Sundling, thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Hugh Husband, I don't know. Smelt it. You smelt it. Welcome, sir. Welcome. Skeet Sayre, you chased away all the cheap labor. What did you expect? There are too many tangents. Trump being Krasnov as he even remove the early warning ocean rigs to hide the fact that climate change isn't just real, but in effect. Yeah, it's insane. Every policy is the wrong policy for this situation. Santista 211. Hey, Texas Paul, I hope you are well. Here's some help with the channel. And as of today, I will not be helping any more Americans since the USA will be going to civil war and we need to keep ourselves safe. Sorry for the bad news. Santista, I'm super grateful, but we're not headed to a civil war. We're not. That's just not going to happen. Economic collapse? Yeah. Civil war? No. Cletus is done. He's exhausted. Cross-eyed guy. How much longer until the world drops the US economy? It's happening right now. It's happening right now. They're selling off bonds, they're selling off US dollars. It's happening right now. It is. Netadal, all empires fall. There's something big that's going to happen on Monday. That's why I'm doing this show today. Monday, the NYMEX opens at 6 o'clock. Watch what happens in the commodity market, then watch what happens in the bond markets on Mondays. The Dow has lost all reality. I no longer look at the Dow for any sense of information of what's going on. It's absolutely, I'm going to show you that's one of the contributing factors here. We're going to talk about in a minute. Don't worry about the Dow. It's insane. There's no reality there at all. But look at the bond markets. Look at commodity markets, precious metals. See what's happening there. You'll see. Monday's going to be insane. Netta, good to see you. Netta Doll. All empires fall when they live beyond their means. I've been waiting for it after the election of Trump for it to happen. I don't think that we're going to fall, but I do think it's going to take us decades to get back up off our knees. I don't think that's, I guess, the wrong way to put that, because if you're on your knees, you fell. I don't think we're going to collapse, but let me put it that way. But it's going to take a lot. It's going to take a long time because there's more. Wait for it. There's more. Oregon Wine Lady, Texas Paul, we have several homes for sale in our 55 plus community for months now. Folks cannot afford to move or are afraid to. Yeah, the entire housing market is frozen. ET, I'll bet you whom those lumber mill owners donated. Yeah, that you can say that again. Do you know why companies with good unions succeeded? Grievances are dealt with. Having the blacks help you and giving them Jim Crow must be corrected. If something starts crooked, it cannot end straight. I don't quite understand, Skeets, what you're saying there in that middle part. I don't. Linda, I get the message about the unions. I get it. I totally get it. It's the truth. When people do well, when the average common person does well, everybody does well, because people that are in our bracket spend. We don't hoard wealth. We spend, and it's fantastic for the economy. Even the broligarchs do well. And they just can never understand that. They're so damn greedy. And you know what? On that, just 1 second, Linda, I'll come back to you. On that note, there is something that I would really like to ask. It's a good segue for this. The American dream has been selling to people, and it's really a global dream. It's not just the American dream. It's just people around the world don't tend to buy into it like we do. That you're going to be rich, right? We say successful, but we mean rich. Go out, get your college education, and work hard. And in America, you can be successful, which means rich. There's no statistical data to support that. There isn't. There is not that upward mobility. It is a winning the lottery rarity that someone becomes a billionaire, that someone becomes rich. It's really fucking rare. What you can do is you can make yourself comfortable. You can do what me and Mrs. Texas Paul did. You can work your whole life. You can live beneath your means. You can be responsible. And when you get to the end, you don't have to be afraid. You don't have to rely on your children to feed you. You can have some sense of security. That you can do in the United States of America. So can we please stop voting like someday we might be rich, because you're not going to be? Can we start voting like we understand that our entire lives we are going to be poor? Please vote for the policies that a poor person would need. It's called socialism. And it's a bad word. And you really shouldn't use it in politics, because so many stupid people don't understand that that's just the reality of it. People in Europe understand this. They do. They know. Ask. We have so many people in our audience that are from Europe. Ask them specifically about this con that is so huge. It's everywhere. Globally, it's everywhere. But for some reason in America, we just drink it down to the extreme. Everybody thinks they're gonna be rich, so they don't push for policies that tax the rich, that restrict the rich, that regulate the rich, and help the poor. Universal health care, public transportation, subsidized energy, things that help where you're going to end up, folks. The math is the math. 50% of our country is not even in the market. They're not even in, they have no investments whatsoever. Paycheck to paycheck. That's it. The overwhelming majority of us will be poor. Can we please start voting that way? Linda Orndor, most people do not realize that by wiping out the immigrant workers in this country, we are defunding Social Security. Social Security is already going to be insolvent by 2032. Yes, I'm not even touching on that in today's great point. I love you people so much. You are plugged in. You are prepared. We just have to get that message out. Macy Graham, racism is the root cause driving all of this. It is the tool that the broligarchs use. It is the butter that smooths the descent of poor people into the Republican Party. The racism. I say it over and over again. The core of MAGA, the core of the Republican Party is racism. Because if you say racist shit, they ignore everything else because they're going to be rich one day. It's delusional. Skeet Sarah, never forget, we all do better when we all do better. Quit fucking with our brothers and sisters that are not white. Quit fucking with our brothers and sisters that are part of the LGBTQI plus community. They're just living their lives. Let's focus on creating a country that's good for all of us. Because when we do well, we're not going to be rich. We're not going to be rich. But we'll be comfortable and we'll spend that money. And then the broligarchs will make it. Everybody will do better. We all do better when we all do better. Can we just please start voting that way? Skeet Sarah, never forget we have Putin, red. I'm going to say you meant red carpet entry on U.S. oil. SpaceX could destroy the stock market. Yeah, SpaceX is tanking. People bought SpaceX at $2.25. It is plummeting. Matter of fact, here, let me show you. Good segue for this. Ooh, it's at 123. It's at 123. Here, let me pull this up. I'll show you SpaceX had their IPO and everybody bought into this more Elon stupid shit. And I kept, when that happened, I said, why are people still buying into this stupid shit? Why are people still believing this? Yeah, that is SpaceX, man. It is tanking. It's lost over $1 trillion in value already. I guess the dream is gone. Kate Marylight, hope you're right about housing. My brother is preparing the family home for sale. It's his retirement. I'm telling you, if he can sell it, he'll do well. If he can sell it. Skeet Sayre, the Union was losing the Civil War until Lincoln freed the slaves. Over 2 million joined the Union, and they went from losing the war to winning it. When the war was over, they invited the South to join the government. Jim Crow was cooked up for 100 years. Thank you for being so generous. Skeets, thank you for being so generous. I appreciate you, man. Melissa Grubb, I don't want to be rich. I just want to have to not worry about housing, food, and going broke if I get sick or have an accident that disables me. Thank you. Thank you. We're not asking for wealth. We're not asking. We're just asking for security. That's it. Just let us work enough and make enough just to be secure. I don't know anybody that's demanding wealth. A house and to be able to pay the bills. Maybe be able to take a Carnival cruise every once in a while. That's it. Maybe, my kids will be educated. That's it. I mean, they're not asking for fucking Ferraris. What do you think about the new billboard in Iran with the Trump family in a coffin? Thanks for all you do. I think it's bullshit. I do. I think it's bullshit. I mean, the media will run with that. It's probably some private individual that did that shit. If it's even real, if it's even not AI, it's going to be some private individual. It's not the fucking government that did it. It's a stupid distraction. Tube Kurt, Paul, wondering if you're going to touch on Orange Boy's Crazy Pants primetime speech and Mark Wayne's announcement about election intervention. We're going to talk about both as the election progresses. The old footage, I talked about on social media, and I was going to talk about it on Friday. He's talking about Trump's idiotic speech about the elections. That has blown up in his face. 100% blown up in his face. 2 of the 3 major networks wouldn't carry it. They're having a hissy fit about that. It was sheer stupidity. Everybody, you failed when the overwhelming prevailing story coming out of this is, so wait a minute. What you're selling is, wait for it, that in 2016, Democrats fixed the election, but you won and the Republicans won. We just fucked up. And then 2020, we fixed the election and you lost. But you were running that election. You claim that your intelligence, your CIA, Trump's CIA, same guy, John Radcliffe, same guy that's in charge now, Trump claimed withheld super secret information and evidence that they still haven't released that shows that while his government was in place, we Democrats stole the election. Yeah. But in 2024, I guess we forgot how, because we let the Republicans control all 3 branches of government. It's the stupidest shit. When that is what comes out of it, that fell like a lead balloon. And then Mark Wayne Mullen came out, the head of Homeland Security. I told you, the dumbest son of a bitch on the face of the planet, and made a bunch of threats about arresting people if you don't do what Trump says. And Again, that fell flat too. An example, people are so intimidated that Gavin Newsom has said that in California, if you attempt to interfere with the elections, I don't care if you work for the Trump administration, we will jail you. So yeah, that really fell flat. It did. It did. Donna DeJoya, Texas Paul, great show today. I've always said that labels divide us. We are all just people. Do better. Everyone, thank you for always being here. Thank you, Donna, for being here. Jared Kalkanunen. That's why they call it the American dream, because you have to be asleep to believe it. George Carlin. I miss George Carlin. Just a couple more. We're going to get back to work. Folks, I mean it. In our European audience, that's a conversation y'all need to be having, is the difference between the way people in Europe look at government and where their expectations are and how much what they expect out of their government versus what we do here, because everybody here thinks that one day they're going to be the billionaire oligarch. It's insane. Skeets here. What is wrong with decency? Nothing. No, that is exactly what we need, brother. Ninja Vestos, the Tate brothers being arrested and sent to the UK is glorious. Andrew Tate posted about being back and free after Trump won. Justice will be served. Yep. Reality. Max Roy, I'd be happy with a lamb, not a Lambo. Yeah. Tell me about it, brother. Tell me about it. But yeah, look, this is what's going on. This is the Shiller ratio. The Shiller ratio, it's not hard. It tracks between the company's earnings and its market cap, its valuation. Not a hard ratio to understand. Kind of like Tesla. I've said this over and over again. The P&E ratio, the profit to earning ratio, is completely unjustified. There's no way that Tesla as a company could make enough money to justify its valuation. Even if you considered, it's going to do big things in the future, it could never earn that much money. Ever. SpaceX, the realities come home with that. But it's not just that. It's not just those companies. It's everything. I keep telling you, the stock market is detached. The Dow is detached from reality completely. I get it. Monday's supposed to be a big wake-up call for it, but this is what we're talking about, folks. This is the Shiller ratio. This is what it's also called the CAPE ratio, CAPE, CAPE ratio. I want you to take a look at the events when you see these peaks. This is 2000. You remember the crash that happened right after Bush took office? That's why he started the Iraq War. Bush comes into office. Here's 1999. He took office in January 2000. Let me find it. September, October, November, December, January. There you go. Bush takes office. Shiller ratio goes through the roof because, Republicans are stupid. They have never gotten around their heads wrapped around the fact that Republicans crash the economy every time. Shit went south. We had an economic collapse right after Bush took off. So they started the Iraq War. And this is what happened following 2004, 2008. Then we had this astronomically high number right here. Equities went insane. Their valuation went through the roof. What happened in 2007 and 2008? The big collapse, the banking collapse, the real estate collapse, and they blamed it on poor people. I'm going to say this again. They blamed it on black people. They did. They publicly went to microphones and reporters, and they said, you made us give loans to black people. They said that. They fucking said that. Go back and Google it. And that's what crashed everything. No, look at the Schiller ratio. They wildly overvalued homes. They issued those liar's loans. You had people buying homes sight unseen. You had mechanics that owned a dozen homes that they could not make the payments on. People were buying a house and just relisting it, not touching it, not upgrading it, not flipping it. They would just buy it and relist it. And idiots were driving the price of these homes up astronomically high. You remember all of this. They blamed it on poor people. And you can see right here. Let me go back. You can see right here. It is everything to do with their own delusion and their own market valuations. And it damn near destroyed the country. And it reset. The bubble burst. The bubble burst. Then this peak is COVID. And ask yourself, why would we get an obscene rise in the Schiller ratio during COVID? Think back to what everybody did. The world economy came screeching to a halt. The global economy came screeching to a halt. Where did all the investment money go during COVID? Here. It came to the United States for safe harbor. People were buying up stocks. People were buying up bonds. People were buying up anything that they could buy up that was not part of the fringe economy. Everything flooded into the United States, and it flooded into London. If you look at the UK's version of the Schiller ratio, it does the same thing at the exact same time. Everybody ran for Western economies during COVID. Well, here we go again. Here we go again. Schiller ratio is at 32.41. Folks, the average is 17.4. The market average, and it doesn't matter what the Dow is at. That's not how the Schiller ratio works. It takes profits to earnings. The average ratio price to earnings is 17.4. It is at 32.41. It is almost doubled. And every time that happens, the market collapses. And I'm talking spectacularly collapses. Giovanna Patelli, the ultra rich fuck things up, and the rest of us pay the price. Very well said. Okay, so we've talked about the energy industry. We've talked about the housing industry. We've talked about what's going on with equities and how the red flags are blaring there. They call it expensive. That's the word they use. They're saying the market is expensive right now. Stocks are overvalued, critically overvalued. And then you have this. I told you, when Trump took office, what was at the core of the tariffs? What was the grift? What was the big con with the tariffs? Yes, it was personal enrichment and market manipulation. That was part of it. But what was the big con at the core of it? It was to take Johnny Gotrock's tax burden and put it into the cost of all the goods that you have to buy, to shift their tax burdens onto you. That was the whole tariff grift. It was supposed to eat up. Remember the first time in the Trump administration, he added $8 trillion. One man added a third of our debt. One president, one administration for only 4 years added a 1/3 of our total debt. The tariffs was the con that was supposed to prevent that. They were supposed to, it was a stealth tax on you. It was to move the oligarch's tax burden on you and make it completely unavoidable. There is no exemption. There is no write-off. There's no anything you can do to avoid it. That's what the tariffs were supposed to do. And just like the Iran war, they thought the economy was bulletproof. Okay, we'll just do this and it'll be fine. This grift will work. It did not. It did not. The tariffs they implemented were illegal. The Republicans in Congress did not want to be held responsible, so they wouldn't pass the legislation required to make these tariffs legal. But they never stopped spending. Here we are in another forever war. They never stopped spending. And this is the result. This is from the Government Accountability Office. This is their government screaming the debt to GDP is out of control with graphs. Folks, this is the Great Depression. This is World War II. This peak right here, that's World War II. This is the financial crisis from 2007 to 2009 when we had to spend like drunken sailors. We had to print money to keep our economy and the global economy from collapsing. Then this peak where it goes almost vertical, that's Trump and his massive tax giveaways to the oligarchs. Then we went into COVID-19. This last gray area is COVID-19, where they had to just hand money away. Seems like every damn senator, every congressman had their hands out. Marjorie Taylor Greene, the elevator flatulator, was taking COVID loans that were forgiven. They were just passing money around to anybody that would take it, printing checks and giving them to people. Just printing it. That's this section right here, this last gray section. Folks, the Government Accountability Office is telling us it is spiking. They are telling us that if Trump's policies continue, what will happen is what you see in the dark blue at the end. And that is unsurvivable. That is the end of Medicare. That is the end of Social Security. That is hyperinflation. That is you not having food money. And the GAO in this administration is telling you it's happening. Because Trump's policies are 100% absolutely the wrong thing for every situation. They're greedy, corrupt, gross policies. But wait, there's more. Do you remember the whole thing that MAGA was pushing? America first, we're going to be oil independent. We're going to be financially independent. America, baby. Woo! We're going to deal with that trade problem with China. We're going to show China. Nam, I hope your coffee's as good as mine. I really do. I really do. Well, folks, let's talk about another segment. We've talked about energy prices. We've talked about home prices. We've talked about Equities, the red flags coming out of equities. We've talked about the red flags coming out of debt. Let's talk about food prices and what's about to happen. This is inevitable. This is not changeable. You are on this fucking bus and you cannot get off. Nothing they do. If they ended the war in Iran today, nothing they could do will prevent this. This is baked into the cake. Folks, in order to, I say this over and over and over again, we've got to produce 1.2 to 1.4 billion pounds of food every single day, and that is just the United States of America. Let me say it again. We must produce, I'm talking about grow it, cook it, package it, ship it, deliver it, put it on shelves, sell it. You take it home, you fire up your stove, you cook it, or you go to McDonald's and they cook it and use energy. 1.2 to 1.4 billion pounds of food every day. That is the logistic reality of it all. This is before we even talk about water. Water is not even part of the show today. We're talking about just food. Folks, farmers work their asses off. Yes, some of them vote stupid. There are Democratic farmers out there that work their asses off, and they don't vote stupid. But in Iowa, Ohio, all down the Midwest, there are farmers that have been very, very stupid, and they are paying dearly. Diesel prices are astronomically high because, again, Trump policies, Trump is desperately trying to keep our allies from turning on us on a global scale, so they are exporting diesel as fast as they can. We don't have enough to meet our own requirements. Diesel prices are rising and they're about to go up astronomically. Farmers must have diesel. Farmers turn sunlight, water, minerals in the soil, and seeds and diesel into food. It's not magic. They must have sunlight. They must have water. They must have the right minerals in the soil, which we're about to talk about. They must have seeds, and they must have diesel energy. And that's how you get 1.2 to 1.4 billion pounds of food every time that sun rises in the west. By the time it sets in the east, we must have provided, again, one more time to drive the fact home, 1.2 to 1.4 billion pounds of food in that 24-hour period. We already talked about the diesel prices. Let's talk about what else is happening. Let's talk about fertilizer, the minerals in the soil. There are three major fertilizers. There's phosphates, there's potash, and there's urea. Phosphates, potash, and urea. Those are the big three fertilizers. And no, urea is not urine. Don't be kids. It's not urine. Urea is fertilizer. Crops must have these fertilizers in some proportion, depending on the crop, in order to grow that food. To be as productive as we are, they have to have it. If they do not get it, they do what's called soil mining. Does anybody remember the Dust Bowl from school? Anybody remember the Dust Bowl? The Dust Bowl was the result of soil mining in big part. We didn't know how to manage the soil, to rotate crops, to fertilize. We didn't have the skills. We burned the land of minerals. That is soil mining. Many farmers are relying on the nutrients in the soil for their 2027 crop because prices are so high they cannot function as a business. That is one thing that is happening. What does that mean? Food production will drop. That will happen. Some farmers are having great crops right now. They are. But the 2027 planting season, because of what's going on, because the Iran war is not going to end anytime soon, we are screwed. Let me give you the good news. Our Canadian brothers and sisters take care of us as far as potash is concerned. We are fine as far as potash is concerned. The only thing that's driving up potash prices, and it's negligible, is shipping, transit, energy costs. That's it. Our Canadian brothers and sisters, we buy about 80 to 90% of the potash that we need in this country. We buy it out of Canada, and they're taking care of us. Despite the obvious corruption with the Trump administration, Trump, this just happened. You remember when we had the wildfires out west? And the Canadians came down with their crews. The Mexicans came up with their crews. The Canadians sent airplanes. You remember all that? Well, this is what Trump is doing. Trump is slapping them in the face. Canada is having massive wildfires right now. And this is our deluded, unfit, pudding-brained president. Trump wants to impose tariffs on Canada in retaliation for wildfire smoke. I'll say it again. We have wildfires. We have a crisis. Canada helps us. Canada has wildfires. Canada has a crisis. Trump wants to slap them in the face with tariffs. Even though that's there, even though the greed that's going on with the Gordie Howe Bridge that we've talked about, because a Trump donor gave Trump $1 million to keep an old bridge open, and he won't open the Gordie Howe Bridge because there's some corruption there. They're waiting to get their Trump family taste off the new bridge that the Canadians completely funded to improve trade. They're sending us potash, right? I mean, they're taking. Even though that greed's in place, Canada still takes care of us on the potash front. So we can take potash off the table. The farmers are getting their potash. Let's talk about urea. Now, what did Trump say about China? We're just not going to be beholden to China. We're going to tariff them. We're going to fix trade. We're going to stand up to China, and we're going to, we're going to make sure that America don't need China. That's really fucking hard to do when the very food that you eat, China is directly responsible for. Folks, the process that goes into making urea, it's not that difficult. It's made out of natural gas. The overwhelming majority of it comes out of the Gulf. The overwhelming majority of it comes out of the Gulf. that's sold on the world market. Now, Trump, because he knows that he cannot fix the disaster that he and Benjamin Netanyahu created in Iran, does this. He declares a food supply emergency, suspend tariffs on key fertilizer import from Morocco. That's going to help us on the phosphate front. And we're going to talk about phosphate in just a moment. Why there's such a big problem with phosphate here in just a moment, even though Trump is taking this step in Morocco. I want to be clear about this. Yes, Morocco. China, Morocco, and Russia were the three big suppliers of phosphates, the materials we use to make phosphates. We manufacture the phosphate fertilizer here. We manufacture it here. One of the key ingredients for it, the sulfur that's used in the manufacturing process, sulfuric acid is part of the manufacturing process. That sulfur comes out of the Gulf. It comes out of the Gulf. So even though we make a huge amount of the phosphate fertilizer right here, we can't, because we can't, for the same reason that, the oil supplies are being choked off, we can't get the material we need. So farmers can't get the phosphate fertilizer they need, and Morocco cannot make up the slack. They simply cannot make up the slack. It's just not enough. So phosphate fertilizer prices are climbing and will continue to climb for farmers who are already being squeezed by diesel. Phosphate prices are going up. That's another input. So a lot of farmers are foregoing fertilizer or stretching it, which means lower crop yields, which means higher food prices, period. Then you have urea. Urea is made out of natural gas. There's a process where they combine ammonia and a couple of other products. I don't want to get too far into the weeds, but it's a manufactured process. Both components are harvested from natural gas. We're buying our urea from China. They literally have their boots on the neck of our food supply. And what are Trump's policies? Trade wars with China. Every policy Trump has in place is exactly the opposite of what we need to deal with our current crisis. Your food prices will go up. Your energy prices are going to go up. We've talked about manufacturing. We've talked about equity. We've talked about housing costs are rising astronomically, and why they're rising astronomically, because they can't get labor. Our immigration policy is destroying that. Just a quick recap. Immigration policy. Then you have trade policy problems. You've got home builders that are seeing their costs rising exponentially, so they're just not building. Same thing's happening to farmers over here. Their costs are rising exponentially. So your food prices are going to go up. You got the stock market, which is just detached from reality. I've shown you the Shiller ratio. There is a massive correction coming. Yes, yes, yes. They're going to continue to go up. As expensive as everything is now, it's going to get worse. And this is what you need to look for. These are bond yields right now. Bond yields are kind of high. They're being driven up by inflation. Market conditions, without going too far into the weeds, market conditions are driving bond yields up. Now, when everybody panics and they run for cover, those bond yields will plummet. Here's one of the reasons bond yields are so high. I won't get too deep into it. One second. Let me get you so you don't just have to take my word for it. Let me pull the new article up for you. One second. This is from a few days back. They've actually started. People are starting to sell off our bonds. That's why one of the reasons yields are so high is because they have to make them attractive. You have inflation, you have people are looking at our economy. They're not super excited. They know that the market is expensive. They're dumping money in bonds. They're hedging their bets into bonds, but not enough that bond yields are coming down. See, the yields are converse to demand. When there's no demand for the bonds, the yields are really high. You got enough people that are scared. They don't necessarily know that they should be buying into US bonds. So they're not. Then you also have people that are buying into bonds for safety. When that ratio shifts hard to the people that are buying in for safety, those yields will plummet because they don't have to make them attractive anymore. Why would you continue to pay those high yields on bonds if everybody wants them? If they'll buy them and you can pay them less. It's just the way the bond market works and Cliff's Notes version of it. That's what I want you to watch for. When those bond yields bottom out, start going into free fall, you'll know it's on. It's on. It's happened. This perfect storm I've been painting for you, you'll know we've gone over the cliff. Right now, the bus is careening for the cliff with the worst leadership, worst policies. It was done by choice. It was done by choice. When you see this bottom out, when you see this start to plummet, 10-year treasury bonds, you will know we have gone over the cliff. This is inevitable. Cushing is at bottoms. Folks, you can't fix that overnight. We've just gone below 40% in storage, oil storage in here in Texas. It's feeding our refiners here in Texas. That's your gasoline. It's plummeting. You can't fix that overnight. It takes 6 months minimum to fix that. Minimum. Because oil doesn't just dump into reserves, it's being used. It's only excess production that goes into the reserves. That's unfixable. Right now, I just had a conversation. There's a member of our community. I assume Tony's here. There's a member of our community. He's a farmer. Just sent me his prices that he's paying for fertilizer, what he's paying for diesel. I wanted to cry for the guy. I mean, he went from a conversation, his diesel prices, and a conversation, he's like, I've got a price. They buy in contracts. They buy in massive amounts. They buy thousands of gallons at a time. Had a price. The price went up. He said, I got to check with my partners to make sure that I can, by the time he got back from his partners, it had gone up again. Then we said, okay, yeah, give it to me at that price. There wasn't a truck available. So by the time the truck got there and could be loaded, his fuel co-op had to call him back and say, sorry, this price is now this price. I can't ship it out the door at this price. I've got it. It's now here. That's how fast diesel is going up for these farmers. It's insane. Your food prices will go up. Not because farmers, they're doing the best they can, man. It's just like the lumber mills. It's these market conditions created by these Republicans that don't give a shit about people. It's their fault. It's their fault. This isn't market conditions. It isn't a storm. It isn't a pandemic. It isn't something happened to us that was beyond our control and we're doing the best that we can. This is all by choice. They did this. It's their fault. And it's unfixable. It's just unfixable at this point. We're going to have to go through it. Our farmers are hurting. That's going to take a lot of socialism to fix. Our housing market, it's hurting. It's going to take government loans. It's going to take a lot of socialism to fix. And folks, they're going to come to you looking at that debt and they're going to say, you got to give. You got to give. You got too much. Your Medicare, all of your expenses are too high. Too much Social Security. You got to give. And I want you to look them in the face and I want you to tell them bullshit. It's you. Just like they tried to blame poor people and black people for the 2007, 2008 collapse. I want you to tell them, fuck you. You did this. You did this by choice. You greedy bastards and your bullshit tariff grift of trying to push your taxes on us. You wrecked our global economy. Then you let this dumb son of a bitch start a war and continue a war, and y'all did nothing. The war in Ukraine disrupted global supply chains. You did nothing. You fought us the entire time that we tried to stop that. You did less than nothing there. You literally cut our Achilles heels every time we tried to do something to end the war in Ukraine that was causing these global supply shortages. You did less than nothing. It is your fault. Then Iran. You're still doing nothing. You're sitting there quietly hoping the problem will fix itself. Trump will come out. Oh, Trump will come out with a post and he'll say, it's all good. And everybody on Wall Street will pretend like it's all good. Well, you know who knows it's not all good? I guarantee you, you know who knows what I know, what I just shared with you? Fucking Iran knows. Iran knows. Folks, there's one more thing that I want to address. There's somebody that keeps emailing me, asking me if I take APAC money. No, I don't fucking take APAC money. And that's goddamn pathetic. I came out and told you something you didn't want to fucking hear. That Massey is not your fucking friend. That Massey is setting you up. That the bullshit vote that they held was a trap. And you can't wrap your fucking head around it. So you're asking me, do I take APAC money? No, I don't take fucking APAC money. I'm the guy that sits here and rails about that fucking criminal Netanyahu. But I tell you one thing that doesn't meet your social media fucking fantasy, and I bet he takes APAC money. Fuck you. These people fund me that you're seeing right here, right now. I sell mugs. That's what I do. That's where I get my money. The Democratic money, the Democratic Party, the ungrateful sons of bitches, even though I work my ass off to get Democrats elected, they don't fund me either. My opinion is legit, and I bring fucking receipts. And so just because what I say doesn't follow your fucking social media narrative, get the fuck over it. Clean out your ears. No, I don't take APAC money. Fucking asshole. And I will not lie to you. I will not go to social media and jack you off with, oh, that Hakeem Jeffries. Let me clickbait some shit about, let me say, oh, you know, this happened. Well, I'll say it's Israel's fault, so that I'll get the clicks. Fuck that noise. I'm going to tell you what's going on so that you can make good decisions. I'm going to elect Democrats, and I'm going to tell you some of those Democrats are in pro-Israel districts. So do me a little favor. Shut the fuck up about them. They've got to do what they've got to fucking do so that we can gain control of at least one of these fucking branches of government. You dumb motherfucker. Life is not social fucking media. Do you understand that? Life is not social fucking media. Love you folks, and I'm sorry about that rant, but it is what it is. It is what it is. And if that wasn't an accusation, I'm sorry, but it read like an accusation. It was a stupid goddamn question. Anybody that follows me knows where I stand on everything in the Middle East, including Israel. That was an attempt to discount what I have to say. So you can do the same thing that the fucking MAGA people do when they stick their fingers in their ears and say, Trump derangement syndrome, Trump derangement syndrome. Same thing on our side. Whenever you have something that's inconvenient for these people that all they want to do is jack off on Israel, you say something that doesn't run to their narrative. They're like, APAC, I bet he takes APAC money. Fuck you. And since we're talking about the fact that the Democratic Party doesn't pay me, you know what I want? Tonga. That's what I want. I've made up my mind. Yes, I work hard for you Democrats. No, you don't pay me. Yes, I work hard to elect Democrats. And when we take the White House back in 2028, I want Tonga. I do. Not the country. We haven't had an ambassador there in forever. They're great people, intelligent, successful, beautiful country, white beaches. I want to sit my ass on the beach in Tonga as the ambassador to Tonga, playing my sixth string because I can't fuck that up. I don't want to be the ambassador to France. I don't want to be the ambassador to Greece or Turkey or Israel or any place where I could fuck it up. I love my country too much. Tonga, I can do that job. They're good people. That's what I want, the ambassadorship to Tonga. I want to read a couple more of our comments before we finish up. Skeet Sayre, do you understand that the Great Lakes manufacturing was more than 50% of U.S. jobs, and Reagan gave it to Mexico, then China, that he could not break because he could not break Detroit? They did it because they thought unions were communism. Those sick old bastards that are still, some of them are still hanging in today from the Reagan era. Yeah. They were young men in their 40s and 50s during the Reagan era, or in their 80s, 90s, and 100-year-olds now that are still part of Wall Street that still believe that delusional shit that, oh, unions are going to lead us to communism. So we got to outsource those jobs. Look it up. Reagan's chief of staff, Don Regan, former head of Merrill Lynch. Cassie Lake, red hats falling for the engineered outrage portraying Canada as a freeloader. Right-wing news now critical of Dump, calling his treatment gangster economics. Good. Time for reality. Skeet Sayre, the best time in America was 1977 and 1979. It is why I know America can be the beacon on the hill. We need Jimmy Carter, but we have Tallarico and Robin Hood. I love the comment and the sentiment. I do, because we can get to the promised land. This is what I'm promising you. Everybody, I'll tell you about who the problems. I'll tell you who's responsible for it. And I will make you a promise. And this is the promise. I will promise you an America where you can work hard and get to safety, get to comfort. I'm not promising you being rich. I'm not. And I'm not promising you that work will ever end, because it will not. Because when you reach your old age, I will need you to be politically responsible to prevent these young people that get comfortable, and this whole greed is good thing will sprout back up. The bigotry will never die. There will always be some bigotry, some hate. That is your lifelong work. That's all I'm promising you. I'm not promising you pie in the sky bullshit. I'm saying, if you work with me, if you're fucking ride or die and you do the work, we can take our country back. We can make it a decent country. We can lead the world in decency. We can stop pissing away everything on the military. We can stop the stupid gunboat diplomacy, go to soft diplomacy. I'm telling you, you'll get a fair shot. I'm not promising you you'll get rich. I'm promising you you can be comfortable. If you'll do the work and you'll work hard, we can do it. We can create a country where we can all be comfortable and safe. What more do you need than that? Cassie Lake, Democratic senators demand Canadian lift liquor ban. Yeah, there's some people, it hurts. Why would they lift it? It is a good bargaining chip. And yes, there are American employees being hurt by that ban. There are. But I understand it. I know why they're doing it. And I know why people running for re-election would go out there and tell Canada, lift that ban, my people are hurting. I get that. But it's mostly Republicans that are screaming about that. Steve Miller threatened leftists with harsh lawfare. Trump's BS Thursday night speech, 2 more servicemen killed in action, and Trump and 5 Republicans attacking Canada over smoke from their wildfire. What the fuck? Thank you for summing my show up. Thank you. And thank you for being so generous. Steve, I'm truly grateful for your support. I cannot do it without you. Skeet Sayre, what are we in? Is the pinball machine hit tilt 1 hour ago? Yep. Christopher Daly, thank you for supporting the show. Truly. Vince, thank you for always being here, brother. Vince is one of those people that supports me outside the show as well with PayPal. And I'm truly grateful, Vince. I see your donations. I do. I'm truly grateful. He's one of the people that has the recurring donations that keep the show afloat. Everybody, y'all need to be grateful for Vince. He's one of the reasons one of the only reasons I can do this ET, messaging people, affordability instead of culture wars, citizens united instead of APAC. Are you ready to get involved? When do we get to work? When we do the work, it gets done. Amen. 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 ET, it is less than 16 weeks until the general election. Verify your voter registration and deadline dates. Know your early voting dates. Get involved. Amen. Amen. Daniel Hatch, thank you for being so generous. Thank you, sir. Thank you for supporting the show. ET, and all China has to do to us is not buy our debt. Yep. Yep. Daniel Hatch, a group of masked nationalists showed up in downtown Ottawa, Illinois yesterday, historical site of the Lincoln Douglas debate. This shit is coming home. Yep. They will get more radical. They will get, as when we win the midterms, they're going to freak out. When we win the White House in 2028, they're going to go into severe extremism. I'm talking terrorism. These right-wingers, I'm not promising you easy. I'm not. Anybody telling you this shit's going to be easy? Oh, just don't vote for these Democrats and take APAC money. It'll be easy. They're fucking liars. None of this is going to be easy. It's going to be work. Carl Rossi, yes, we must all vote blue, but I am biting my lip these days, not using the R word. So frustrating. I hear you. I hear you, man. Pablo Garcia, why do I feel like Jewish person in Germany in 1935, Mexican-American, disabled, and amputee? I get it. I get it. I understand exactly what you're saying, sir. Kyra, Texas Paul, I just read that Tulsi Gabbard's brother has been charged for attempting to lure children to his hotel room. Good. I'm glad the charges came. Cross-eyed guy, even if they have the capacity to produce the food, how much of it will be fit for human consumption under this administration? All the safety measures are gone. I hear you. And that is a legitimate fear. It really is. But I will tell you, some of that is fear. It's like GMO. There's a lot of people that made a lot of money selling fear about GMO foods. I'm telling you, our farmers ain't trying to kill us. They are not. And when you can produce them a crop that can grow, that doesn't bruise as easily, that gets more food to market with less spoilage, that's a win, man. That's using science to help feed us. So I get where you're coming from. I do. It's a legitimate fear that we have to be vigilant about. I'm not telling you don't worry. We have to be vigilant about what we do. But there's a lot of people out there that grift, that make money off of fear. I'm not afraid of it. Lab cultivated meat. I know a cow is a walking laboratory. They're cultivating meat. That's what they're doing. They take grass, they take water, they take some grain, they take sunlight, and they turn it into meat. It's a laboratory. It's a walking laboratory, but it's a hell of a lot more filthy than the laboratories that we can control. I'll give you a perfect example. You know why your bread doesn't mold like it used to? Remember, bread used to mold a couple days and it was moldy, and that doesn't happen anymore. Yeah, it's not they're putting shitty stuff in your foods. That's not it. It's that the bakeries that mass manufacture bread these days are fucking laboratories, man. I mean, real laboratories. People, I mean, they're in smocks, their heads are covered. They do not allow, it used to be an old brick building with mold in it. You know what I mean? That's where they used to manufacture. They don't anymore. They don't. The damn air conditioners have, ultra tight micron filters that won't allow that shit to contaminate your food. The contaminants aren't already on your bread that used to be there. But people are like, hey, why isn't my bread degrading like it used to? That's a good thing. Science, man. Science, my brother. It's not they're hurting you. It's they're helping you. But you get these grifters out there. They're like, my bread used to mold. This isn't bread. No, it is. It's bread. It's just, you should see the facility it's made in now. It's fucking cool. Skeet Sayer, the Pan-Europeans did not respect that the peoples of the Americas had mastered what they called agriculture. You do not need fertilizer, but to let the land rest. Potash is nothing more than buffalo dung. You know, I get it. I get it. And there's a lot of people in the beef industry that have figured out that if they quit killing off their fields, then planting grass for their specific, like Bahia grass and Bermuda, different varieties of grass for their cattle to graze on, and then putting the maximum number of cattle in, they're figuring out that they're making more money if they let the ground do what it normally does naturally, put less cattle on it, the cattle fertilize it, the natural pre-existing plants that are growing there feed their cattle, and they're hardy, and you don't have to dump a bunch of fertilizer in it. They end up making more money off less beef. Sometimes the old ways are better. Sometimes they are. But again, it's science that's figuring this out. It is. It's still science that's figuring it out. Veggie Allegro, I'm behind it. I'm behind it. Housing part. My mother has the temperature of a child, the temperament of a child now. When I last talked to her, she decided to say later, Gator, which is a 60s phrase. I'm familiar. What happens if Medicaid gets cut off? She needs senior care. Yeah, I'm telling you, this is what we're fighting for. If we lose this next election, it's just like we told you about reproductive rights, and they will take women's right to vote away. They will come after your Medicare and Medicaid. They're telling you they're going to do this. They're already telling you, oh, this is what's costing us too much, when they're spending over here like drunken frickin' sailors and won't tax their donors. Yeah, this is everything in this next election. Skeet Sayer, if you have common sense, us is not making dollars off that. The U.S. is not making dollars off that bridge for the last 20 years. No, it's a privately owned. That girl, a government that don't have enough to provide for its poor, won't have enough to protect its rich. Thanks, Paul, Texas Paul, for another riveting session. Hey, I'm glad you're here. I'm really glad to have you here, that girl. I am. Glad you're part of the community. Amy Diaz, good to see you, Amy. I hope that fool is on his best behavior at MetLife. Don't embarrass us in front of Prime Minister Carney and President Scheinbaum. Boy, I tell you, President Scheinbaum has been doing amazing, amazing stuff. Modicul, I read a report saying China has been silently saving our country. The criminal is ridiculous. They have. China understands the chaos that a lack of food brings. China understands, for all their faults. It's like Iran. When I say Iran does something, I'm not endorsing Iran. They're brutal. They're a brutal regime. China has its faults, but they understand the basics of, yeah, we don't need the chaos of food shortages. We don't need the chaos of water shortages. We don't need it. They get it. It's our Wall Street that doesn't get it. Farmer Law, glad to see you. Glad you're here. Glad you're here. Everybody, always glad to see somebody with law in their name. I'm telling you, I'm looking forward to reading your comments. Melissa Grubb, oligarchs are destroying the world, not just the U.S. They are. Colleen Sarah, a little behind, but don't know if anyone's mentioned Trump going to the FIFA finale. The world is burning, but I guess that can wait. Oh, yeah, everything's got to be about him. Everything's got to be. He's a narcissist. He's insane. Everything's got to be about him. Tony Velez, everything Donnie touches turns to shit. Amen. Santisa, it's time to get into gold. I am not your financial advisor. I am not your financial advisor. I do not give investment advice. I can tell you what I'm doing. I'm getting out of the market again. That's what I'm doing. You need to talk to your financial advisor, and you need to figure out what's best for you. Tell them your concerns. Tell them what you're looking at. But I am not your financial advisor. Tube Kurt, the sun's going to come up, the coffee's going to brew, and it's going to dawn on us at scale that we don't need oligarchs. We don't. We don't. Those people are the most unproductive, most useless, parasitic parts of our society. And the sooner we figure that out, the sooner we start voting like we're all going to be poor our whole lives, the better off we're going to be. Puzzle D, tell him Texas Paul, love you. Thanks for all you do. No, thank you for the support. I get it, folks. $20 is a lot of money. I get it, and I'm truly grateful. Monocool, Massey was never an ally. He's a delusional libertarian who thinks defunding the entire government and deregulation is the answer. Yup. Yep. 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 Say it louder, my friend. Wolvenhart, you are turning Canadian, apologizing for truth. I appreciate you. I'm turning Canadian, apologizing for truth. I love my Canadian friends, man. I wish somebody would send me more of these chocolate bars, man, so I could eat the one I got there. That was some good stuff, man. A Syrian family up in Canada makes stuff. Weird Idaho liberal Hunter Biden cracked me up the other day when he said that Republicans are also in a closetocracy. Auxiliary power to the cussing jar bunker buster. Always good to have you here, my friend. Always good. I'm glad the cup showed up too. I like that picture. Chandra Patton, thank you. Thank you for being so generous and always being here, Chandra. Thank you for taking care of the community like that. Joe Rodriguez, good to see you, my friend. Texas, well, keep it real. I appreciate the information about cost and importance of farmers and ranchers. Thank you from California. Man, folks, take it to heart. Costs are going up. They're going to continue to go up. Phoenix, thank you for being here. Thank you for being a member. Wolvenhart, what hurt in Canada with the wildfires is one of our firefighters died fighting a Colorado wildfire last week, and we get slammed for smoke. I know, it's just a slap in the face. It is not us, man. We love you people, and we are so grateful for everything you do. It's this piece of shit Republicans. It's Trump, the MAGA regime. It's not us, man. We love you. We love our Canadian brothers and sisters. Santista, formaldehyde is in bread is not good. Check the list of products in bread. I'm telling you, be careful about those scare tactics. Just be careful about it. I'm telling you. You know, I was watching a thing on sodas from a very trusted source talking about diet sodas. They were talking about you can't drink diet sodas because it'll weaken your teeth. And they did the math on it, and it's like you have to drink 30 sodas a day to weaken the enamel on your teeth. Who the fuck is drinking 30 sodas a day? I drink a lot of soda, but not 30 a day. Be careful. There is an industry in this country of people on social media that will say things. Oh, this chemical is in window cleaner. A lot of chemicals in window cleaner that are also in food products because of chemistry, not because it's toxic for you in this form. For fuck's sake, table salt is chlorine. Sodium is a volatile chemical, is a volatile metal. But you mix chlorine, which will kill you, and sodium, and you get table salt. Delicious, delicious table salt. Be careful with these grifters. Be careful. Robert Walsh, thank you for being here. They can really affect the way you vote and what's you prioritize. Chandra Patton, common sense ain't common. Amen. Amen. You people, I will say it again. I keep telling you, you keep putting your common sense, you keep putting your values, you keep putting your sense of how intelligent people are on the general population, and you're wrong. They are not you. We have to remember that. We have to remember that, or we're going to lose. We're going to lose everything. Carl Jacobson, 5-month member. Good to see you, sir. Couple more comments and we're going to wrap this up. Robert Walsh, SEC VA, Collins at VA is getting ready to, quote, cure PTSD with LSD. That will kick most vets off disability. It will also put them on the street homeless and run up suicides. I'm telling you. They will. They'll take stuff like this. There has been some real advancements for dealing with PTSD and using acid. Also, ketamine, microdosing ketamine for depression. There have been some advancements. Republicans will take those good things that are happening, and I'm telling you, it's real. It is really real. There are scientific studies, scientific data to back it up. You take a soldier with PTSD, they've used mushrooms, they've used LSD, they've used different psychedelics in a controlled way. We're not talking about drug abuse. And it resets their mind. It's life-saving what happens. I'm not talking about they're out there blasted on acid all the time. I'm talking about a doctor-controlled periodic dose over time. They go on a trip and they come back reset. It's real. It's working. It's helping. It's saving lives. But they'll do what he's talking about here is they'll take and say, okay, well, now we don't need to fund this anymore because we got a cure. Well, no, it doesn't work for everybody. You just want to defund what everybody needs for your oligarchs. Good comment, my friend. Good comment. Good comment, Robert. Wendy Bauman. I only give to Texas Paul Ride or Die PAC. I'm not a PAC. Do not get me sued. Thank you. I appreciate you. But support your local Democratic Party. Support your local candidates. I'd rather you do that than support me. I really would. This fight is everything. Uncle Fatty. Well, that's a name I ain't seen in a while. Good to see you. They'd be in prison right now. They're going to go to prison when they lose. They'll fight like their lives depend on it because it does. They'd rather burn it all down. We better be prepared. Fact bat for the W. Amen. Amen. They are going to get more drastic. They'll get weaker, but they will get more radical. We got to be prepared for it. Leanne Grins, good to see you. Glad to see him here as a member. Glad to see it. Skeet Share, the highest scores in chemistry and biology are hired by the food companies in America. Yep. Texas Yellow Rose, welcome. Glad to see you here. Glad you're here. Damn glad to have you in the community. Folks, on that, I hope what I've shared with you has been useful. I'm getting a note, a reminder. There's something I was supposed to say. Yeah, this is happening again. There are people that are putting out fake. They're using there's one company that's gone so far, and I can't touch them because they're out of the fucking country. They're using an AI generated version of me to sell dick pills. I don't sell dick pills. I don't grift crypto. I don't ask you to go to Telegram. Every donation that you see, every bit of support I get, you see. It's obvious. I am not emailing you asking you for money. The only email you'll get from me about money is folks like Vince and people that are on recurring to us, people that I get people that help me behind the scenes. I will email them back and thank them and express my gratitude. You will never get an email from me asking for money. I will never ask you, and we're definitely not dating. We're definitely not dating. Okay. I'm telling you, the grifts are crazy. They're insane. And my friend Brando had to do a PSA about this. It's happening to all of us. You've got people that are just crooks out there that will steal our face and name. They'll download my videos. They'll download my videos. They'll be my legit videos. They'll download them. They'll create a fake profile that's close to my name, and they'll put them out there, and somebody will see them, and they'll like it or follow that person. Then they will try to con that person, and it's not me. It's not me. All of my social media links are on realtexaspaul.com. If it doesn't link from that page, it's not me. It's a grifter. So please be careful. I am never going to reach out to you and ask you to go to Telegram. I am not on Telegram. I'm never going to reach out to you from a Proton Mail account. I use Gmail with my name on it. Okay, folks? Be careful. On that, enjoy some Texas cities at night.